Hey everyone, it's Kate over at Motion.io. Thanks for joining our live stream today. We're just going to give it maybe a minute to let folks join. And in the meantime, go ahead and get yourself acquainted with the comments section. Today, we're going to be taking a lot of questions in the comments section. So I wanted to start out by posting potentially an emoji of the weather in your area. So I'll start. It is very snowy today here in Colorado. It was 90 degrees earlier in the week, and now we're getting a little bit of snow. So you guys can see my comments there. So again, feel free, drop in a comment or two with the emoji of the weather of where you're joining from. As I mentioned, we're going to get going in just about another minute, so 2 minutes after the hour mark. In the meantime, my name is Kate. I help out with implementation over here at Motion. Today, our topic is going to be going through and best utilizing and optimizing Motion for team interactions. How can you best utilize our software, the communication, and work with your team? Wonderful. I see someone, PFC, is joining us. Nice and warm, but no snow over in Canada. I see Robert's joining, 65 in San Francisco. Oh, that must be nice, Robert. One of my best friends, she lives over in San Francisco. So she's been enjoying, it's her first year there. So she's been really enjoying the spring and her alternative where she lived in Austin before. I live in Denver, Colorado. So that is why it's snowing here at the beginning of April. Anyone else, again, feel free, drop either where you're joining from today in the comment section, or go ahead and drop in the emoji. So you can see my snow emoji there. All right, we are 2 minutes after the hour, so let's go ahead and get started. Our agenda for today, just about 5 or 10 minutes of best practice recommendations from me. We're also going to go through and I'll share maybe a few updates that our team has done this week. After that, we're going to try and take as many questions as we have. So feel free as we go through the conversation, think of different questions. As I highlight my best practice tips, again, these next 5 or 10 minutes, let me know any feature you want to see more of or any questions that have come up. Oh, awesome. Well, nice to have you joining, Dakota. Yeah, feel free. Let me know what kind of gaming you do. I'm not a big gamer myself, but quite a few of my colleagues are. So I'll start sharing my screen and we'll get going. All right, so today I am working in our Motion account. Whenever you log in, don't forget you join at the projects level. A more recent update we have is the interface with our your client users. So instead of being a project per project, it is now or a project per client, pardon me. But while you're working inside of Motion, you will still see a list of all of your projects here. So I want to go through just again, best organizational practices, best communication practices with your team. You can see I just have 2 projects to start. We'll pop into my Everroot landscaping. And then I just have this project starting right from the beginning. For this, I wanted to highlight, again, just a few best practice tips. Something that we have that's new here is our filters. So this is going to help you long-term collaborating with your team, just to filter where things are at. For now, I have a lot of client tasks here, so I'm going to go ahead and create just a few team tasks for us. You can see I can easily drag and drop between different stages. If any of your workflows ever change, right now I'm working inside of a project, but you can always go into your templates. We'll touch on that in just a moment. But inside of those templates, you can, again, always adjust your workflows in real time. So as you go through working with your team, if you realize, hey, I've actually been completing review the onboarding form later on. I actually get to that later. My team gets to that later. You can easily, like I said, drag and drop between stages. Right now, I'm setting up a few team tasks. These team tasks I am making all internal. You see here, you can toggle on or off to show it in your client's portal. Sometimes it may come up that you want your clients to see everything that you're working on. Sometimes there might be tasks that come up that you don't want them to see. So again, just for today, I'm going to keep all of them private. We're focusing on how you can best work with your team. All right, so right now what I'm doing is I'm just making a quick form. Something I've seen a lot of people do is they like to take notes and structured notes. I'll highlight our notes section in our project, but something that you can do is you can create a form where you internally just have a few blocks where, when you're live on your different calls with your clients, you can take those notes, save them, then move on to your next task and revisit them later. They'll always be a part of the project. So I'm just going to really quickly do a couple of fields here. Again, usually what I find is when people are working, they have specific questions that they like to ask or that they like to take note on, even if they don't explicitly ask the client on their calls. So I'm just making the general notes here, but you guys may have, again, explicit ones that you guys ask each time. All right, now to continue on, we can see here my different team tasks, my client tasks. And again, to better show you these filters, you can do it by assignee, by stages, by due date. And then what's really going to be nice later in the demonstration, we'll revisit this, is by the last comment. We'll go ahead and we'll just assign and send these tasks out. In practice, you guys may have, I'm just going to mass assign them out. In practice, you'll probably have different cadences for the due dates. In my new project, you can see I am the owner here. My client is creatively named Motion Support. So again, the owner of my project, just who you guys are going to be, that's going to be the motion onboarding. We'll quickly go through and set the assignees for this. And then we can get working. I will go ahead and add one more team member here just so we can see the chatting back and forth. Oh, pardon. All right, so inside of here, we went through, again, just the different ways that folks can organize tasks, can filter through them. I'm going to activate a few of these tasks just right away, both client and team tasks. A new and an additional updated feature is that usually when you're building out your projects or taking notes, editing, you may be in this list view. But over here, we now have a Kanban board view. So when you're actually working, like you and your team may pull up this Kanban view in an internal team meeting and go through and take a look and see where the projects are at with your clients. So right now for my Everroot landscaping, I'm working on their website, kind of getting them onboarded as a new client. So we can see here, I went ahead and sent them the what to expect during onboarding. They're still working on completing that, as well as their onboarding form. I activated this task incorrectly. We're not quite ready to review their onboarding form, so I can easily just drag that over to the other column. Maybe they're all done. We hopped on a quick call and they said, oh, I already read that. They forgot to mark the task complete. You're in that cadence call with your team member. You again can see that I just dragged that task over to the completed column. And now if I go over to my list view, we can see that that's already been completed. Additionally, I'll launch the client portal and what it looks like for your clients now. This is a slightly new updated view as well. So we can see when they log in, they'll see that their welcome page is there, and we can go over to the tasks. And like I said, in real time, their task is updated, all completed. We'll go back to the project section, and a few other things I wanted to highlight that is great for team organization is if you are the owner of your Motion account or if you're an admin user, you will have this option to set different tags. I find this so helpful for being organized with your projects and again, just working day to day inside of Motion. So for now, I'm going to go ahead and just create a few tasks to keep myself organized, or tags, pardon. All right, so we can see my 3 tags there. Right now, I have my 2 projects. You may have quite a few more in, and I'm gonna mass add these tags. All right, these tags are gonna be helpful here in your visual every time you log in, but over here on the right-hand side, I'm just gonna refresh the screen really quick. You can see it's organized and letting you know what projects you're working on. So again, this one's launching soon. I have an SEO project as well as a website project. So when I click on SEO, this will go ahead and show all of your projects labeled with that tag of SEO. So again, when you're on an internal team meeting, you can go ahead and pull up all your SEO projects. Let's check on where they're at. Let's see what their latest activity is, so on and so forth. Then once you're done reviewing those with your colleagues, you can switch over to the website. All those projects start working on it. Kind of the last thing I want to highlight for now, and then we'll switch over, see what questions have come up, see what other ideas have come up for how to work with your team members, is over here, the different filters in the middle. So once tasks start to become overdue, you can click on this and that will show the project with the overdue tasks. And that will be nice because it will be overdue project or overdue tasks for either team members or clients. You can also read through the other filters there, but again, just really quick tip. All right, let's take a quick look and see what comments have come in and see what you guys have today. I see that, oh, Dakota, you play role play. I'm not so familiar with that or the other two. I think that you had mentioned, again, I'm not so much of a gamer. I know more Zelda. As a child, a lot of Grand Theft Auto, a few, just one or two, but mostly play like the interactive games on Wii a little bit more. Continuing on, just seeing what other questions or comments may have come through. Great. Oh, Virginia, thanks for joining. I see that we have a question from you over on LinkedIn. How can we report the status of projects to external executives who do not have access to the Motion environment? I guess let me ask you, Virginia, what specifically are you hoping to report? Just overall status? Are you looking to report like how many tasks are completed with the project? That'll help guide my answer. And while we wait for Virginia to comment and let me know maybe more specifics, I wanted to highlight something else. So I'll just come inside of here and we can see the different stages in Motion. You guys are familiar with that. So that right now I have this set up for my client end, the initial onboarding, implementation, as well as ongoing training. And these are the stages that I want my clients to see. So you can see I have them showing in the tracker. Now all of 3 of them are. Another way I've seen people use this is to break it down by department. So they may have an operations department. Pardon my spelling. They may have sales and marketing together. as well as support. So what's nice about breaking down a few stages and keeping all of your team and internal tasks inside of here is that you can hide these from the client, and then you can create all of those hidden, again, internal team tasks for those specific scenarios. That can be really nice because you can build that out in a template. And then, maybe every stage in this website and SEO onboarding project I need my operations to QA something. Maybe sales and marketing, once we're getting close to launch, I want them to make a little welcome video for the team, get that added, show the client that. And again, maybe support is getting ready to prepare different materials, different ideas that have come up that we share with them about new FAQs. Again, in real time, you can create team tasks very quickly. While you're working in the project, while you're live on the call, or you can build these out in templates again, where that cadence comes up on every onboarding project, for example. I see that Virginia got back to me with some more details. Virginia, you had mentioned essentially the project's view that you are on now for each project, a snapshot of what each project is at. Super helpful, thank you. So using these filters is going to be helpful. I think this may be helpful just to see where they're at, filtering them out just in real time if you do want to report those back to executives. Something else is this home section. This home section on the top left here, think about it as a dashboard. It gives you an overview of where things are at, and then this activity may be helpful as well. Maybe you want to report, okay, in the last 7 days, so many tasks have been completed, things have been going on. That is one way. Otherwise, if there is like a specific format or maybe a specific type of way of reporting that you're hoping to see, drop that in the comments. That would be really helpful for us to know. We're thinking about, again, different ways to better display this information. And that is a great point that, hey, you want to be working on these projects and you do want to report over to other executives that aren't hands-on inside of Motion themselves. So again, feel free whenever you have a moment, Virginia, drop that in the comments too. Emily had asked, can the tags be used on subtasks too, like nested in a project? So that is a great question, Emily. If we go over to the tags, just for anyone who's been popping in and out, this is what Natalie's referring to, pardon, Emily. And if we go over to the project, sorry, Emily, when you apply those tags, you can apply them on the project level. No, right now you can't apply these tags on a task level. I guess if you don't mind, Emily, let me know what might be helpful for those task level, for those tags. Something you could do instead is with our new interface. Again, I'll go ahead and launch this client portal. We have updated it so your clients can be on multiple projects. So right now we can see my Everroot landscaping. Let me go ahead and just in my Flower & Co, I'll add my same client. Maybe I'm working on something else for them. What I'll show for this, Emily, I think this is another way that you could then have those tags on that project level, but still use these different projects to keep your clients organized. So again, what I'm doing is I'm just going to go ahead and add my motion support, my fake client here. Really quick, I'm going to import a task. So this is really helpful for, working again, hands-on inside of Motion. I've been giving a lot of guidance with our team that, I don't want that one, with our team as well as with our clients, that you could create a template here of engagement or ad hoc tasks that you realize that you kept manually making a lot, either on client calls or in team meetings. Any of those repeat scenarios, I really encourage you to add as a template, because then you can import those one-off and you won't take time typing them up each time. So really quick I just needed another template. So I'm going to save one really quick just for the interest of time. And now if I go back to my Flower & Co. project, again, maybe I have a template built out. This one's about website design. Maybe, depending, people mention I want them to leave a review, so I'll go ahead and import it. I'm going to activate these tasks and send them out. And then I, again, really want to show you all what it looks like when a client is on multiple projects now. So we can see here both of my projects. So the one I just created for the Flower Root & Co. and as well as Ever Root & Co. So Emily, again, these naming conventions, just in the interest of time, I'm not switching, but for you, maybe you're working on 2 different services for your clients. You could name those projects then by the service name, and then they could have those tasks separated out and working on them. And then you could go in here and use the tags on that project level. So again, you cannot use the tags on individual tasks. You can use them on the project level. So that's a way to organize your projects, again, by services. The last thing I want to highlight to speak to Emily's question before, I think I saw a few other questions come in. I'll go back and I'll go into my Flowers & Co. While you can't have tags on a task level, I'll go in here. You can have checklists. So you can have these checklists here. And while this is a little bit different functionality than tags, this is nice. There we go. Because on the client side, they can have, again, sub checklists into each task. And then I'm just going to switch this one really quick to a team task. And when it's a team task, you can see these options pop up where you can set the assignee. So right now, I just don't have 2 team members on my project, but you would see everybody added as a team member on this project, and you can set individual due dates for those subtasks. So yeah, wanted to, again, highlight that for you. Just so you know, Emily, it works a little bit different than tags, though. I see Virginia asks, are there APIs or something we can use to get the data out of the system and present it in a spreadsheet-based dashboard? Again, we do not want motion user accounts for our executives. We do need to list the open projects and their status, something like that. And projects are listed, and you can drill down by overdue tasks, no recent activity, no active tasks, by project owner, and active stages. How do I get access to data to build a dashboard? I see. Thank you. Very helpful, Virginia. So I do have off the top of my head the idea for utilizing potentially Zapier. You're welcome, Emily. So if I go over here to Zaps, I'm just going to create a new Zap really quick. Thank you. Go ahead. We can show Virginia's question on the screen just for a couple moments. So we're going to have that showing just so everybody, I know I read it off. I'm not always a auditory learner, so we'll just leave that off and I'll pause talking and then I'll go ahead and dive in. So what I'm showing now on the screen is connecting motion.io to Zapier, as well as how to use that to kind of answer Virginia's question to get some more data out into an Excel that's a little bit easier to digest and maybe pass along to executives. So you can connect your Motion account. Right now, I had created a new Motion account, so I am going to go ahead and just set up the connection. Anyone who has not set up their connection with Motion and Zapier, now is a great time. Zapier helps to connect different softwares. So this is going to be helpful for Virginia because it can help connect different softwares and tell them what to do and update them. You know, not always apples to apples. It depends on how the softwares are set up. But another way to conceptualize it is thinking about it as updating different data across softwares too. So over in the integration section in the settings inside of your Motion account, if you do have the Zapier connection, you'll see it and you can click on it to display. You'll click on the team ID there, and then you'll come into Zap. and then we're going to set up a connection. I'll switch my screen share really quick. Pardon, I'm going to share that entire screen because there's a nice pop-up box that's coming that just wasn't displaying before. So I'm just going to copy and paste the information in this pop-up box to finish up the connection again between the software Zapier and Motion. Once that updates, we can see my Motion account is now set up. And then I'm going to choose a triggering event. For this, it may be helpful for the most applicable for scenarios for you, Virginia. Again, we maybe could connect later today, early next week specifically for your use case. I'm going to speak a little bit more generally today, but give you, again, some tailored suggestions. This may be used for you for the task status change, as well as, I believe, maybe messaging or updates as well. For now, I'll just do the task status change for our example. We'll go ahead, we'll test that trigger. And then you do have to test triggers anytime you want to get them set up. And then the next step, Virginia, to have it like feed automatically is to connect a Google Sheet. And then you can see the different action events. Because this just came up, I don't have a good Google Sheet already built out. But something that is really cool with the Google Sheets is if you already kind of have a workbook and different pages set up, it is smart enough in this connection where it can go to different work pages. It doesn't just have to go to like one simple workbook with a couple of cells. It's nice. The connection's a little bit more complex with that. So there's a lot of different action items here. For now, I'm just going to create the spreadsheet, but most of the time, I think this is going to create a new row or a new column for you. This can feed information. So this is nice when you hit the plus icon with Zapier. For any of those of you not familiar, that is what's really nice about it, is connecting the data. So if you want information to exactly match, like I want to know the status, it can feed it exactly. It's not going to be a manual entry from you. Likewise, you can feed multiple. So maybe I also want to know, and I set up a second tier to this app where it also feeds information about who the user is, so on and so forth. I'm going to go ahead and test this step. And then I'm going to switch the screen share back over to Motion. And then I'm just going to test inside of, I'm just going to pull up to see that test and switch the screen share after that. But again, Virginia, hopefully that is helpful. There can be connections where different status updates, different things that are going on inside of Motion can, again, feed into an Excel. And that would be, I think, a really helpful, more automated data point to share, again, with people not using Motion, but needing status updates to Motion. Pardon, in the process still of resharing my screen with you all. Okay, great. And then I'm just checking for that Excel to ideally show you guys. In the meantime, please, anybody else who has questions, go ahead, think of them, drop them in the different comments, and we'll continue on with those. Virginia, so sorry, in real time, I am just having a little trouble with that, but I will make a note and follow up and happy to talk to you more in depth. Everybody, again, the idea with that for the Zap I set up is that would it make a new spreadsheet. There's some testing. I don't want to waste too much of our time like configuring it out to show you that, but I have a feeling it's just with my test account today. Amber had asked, is there any AI integration? So yes, we do have some AI integrations inside of Motion here. Let me show you my favorite one right now. It's in our form section. So this AI form builder I think is super helpful. If you're building out your Motion account and you have forms from other places, this is a great place where you can I've done this for quite a few people. Create a new form named client intake. And then if that form, you can copy the information. Usually it's a screenshot, a PDF you download, even if they're dynamic and have drop downs, things like that. Again, you can copy and paste most fields and it will easily recreate that form. And you only need to maybe take about 3, 4, 5 minutes to audit it. This is a huge time saver if you have longer forms. Right now, I'm just going to give it a prompt to show. All right, we'll let that think and create that form. Yes, you're welcome, both Emily and Virginia, for your questions earlier and helping to answer those. Right now, created a simple form. I didn't have too long of a prompt. It will create longer ones. And then again, using this form builder, my favorite AI, and we have a few others in here as well. Over in I'll show you in the templates. I find it most helpful to build this out there than on the individual project level. If for whatever reason you wanted to do this on the individual project level, for every project, you could do this as well. Up at the top in the templates, or again, if you're working on an individual project and wanting to update this, we can go over to the settings here and we can go over to the emails. And we also have an AI email writer here. This is really nice. We have that there. We can use that email. Or we can say update the above email to include my business name and send support. Pardon. I think I was clicking too fast, everyone. Sorry, Amber, I may circle back with you for the AI email writer. This I've used before. Again, super helpful to make adjustments to it, make it more customized for you, things like that. Again, our forms, this one I like the best. I think it's most helpful. What other questions do people have? Feel free. Any questions you're thinking about in general about Motion, specifically about how to use Motion with your team and collaborate more with your team? Would love to hear those. Please feel free, drop them in the chat. We have about 5-10 more minutes left for our live stream today. So yeah, I want to make sure to answer all of those questions that have come up. I have thought of a few other features to highlight for you guys, just again for team collaboration in the meantime while you're getting your questions ready. If I go over to this My Tasks section, this helps to display your list of tasks every time you log in, and this subsequently helps you display your teammates' list of tasks. So I think I was not very clear in what I just said, but this is custom to whoever the person is here. So this is unique to you guys. So if you're sitting in a meeting and you're like, wait, what tasks do I have projects on? You're probably no, but if you want to see them in a list view, let me go ahead and assign a couple of tasks to myself and activate them just so we can see, again, what that will look like. That, again, is helpful just to chat, get on the same page. Hey, are you working on this one? Again, maybe you log in and you go to different projects, or you always immediately go to your My Tasks section. I'm going to vary these due dates just because earlier in the presentation, I did not vary them. So I'm just going to move one or two around. There we go. Now, if I go over back to my tasks, we can see my list here, the furthest one out due up at the top. But then you can also filter this view. You can see which ones are in draft. You can see which ones are active. None I have in review right now, overdue and completed as well. That is something I will highlight really quick, and then I see one or two other questions have come in. You can set motion tasks to be in review. So here, maybe we want to, for whatever reason, have the team review this task after the client is done with it. This is really helpful for collaboration. Again, if there's anything that you're worried about your clients saying they completed but didn't quite complete, or that's really important that you, again, want to make sure to take a look at right away. So when we go ahead and click that for in review, we can assign it to who is going to review it. Again, right now I just have my one team member, but this will show all of them. And then as soon as the client marks this task complete, it will switch it into review status, and that team member will get an email ready to review it. So again, that is super helpful. I think I just set that for the complete onboarding. Let me just act as the client really quick for this so you guys can see what that in review status looks like, and then we'll get back to the questions that have come up. All right, we'll go over to my tasks, complete the onboarding form. Pardon the fast typing and scrolling, again, just for both your guys's and my time of wanting to show you the status. My real signature includes a smiley face. I'm trying to make it fun. Hey. So we'll go ahead, we'll refresh this, and we'll go back to the task, and we can see that that's now in review. And then let me pull on over here. Let me refresh this. We'll see. We'll wait for that to come through. I'll show you guys in just a moment. But then we can also see that status on this side, as well as we can see it in review in the Kanban view. All right, let's see. We see Burke Advertising. Thanks for joining the live stream. Has asked their question. Could you share how a team only sees and is hidden from the client? Yes, I'd be happy to highlight that. So tasks do have the option to be fully hidden from the client and not see them. So that is really nice here where it is hidden from client. And the way that you can set those is when you're creating a task, we automatically, whenever you create a new task, have it set to be a team task and for it to be hidden. So that flow is set up for you anyway. We kind of assume when you're making a team task, there are a couple of circumstances that come up that you want to show the client, but most of the time you do want to keep it hidden. So then this team task, when it is hidden, you guys can work on that. And then what's nice is that you can comment back and forth as well, making notes. And then the client will not see any of this. So again, that was Burke Advertising's question, just a little bit more highlighting how a team sees and is hidden from a client working inside of Motion. The other thing, for you to know, is that you can use this note section on every project. This note section is hidden from the client as well. So we'll just do overall account notes. So your team can keep these overall account notes and collaborate, name them whatever you want. For organization, a lot of times I see overall general account notes, call notes, and then individual, like I would say for Kate Younkin, you could do your initials and each team member have their own notes on the account. The other thing at the beginning of the live stream I had mentioned, and just want to recap, I know, again, people pop in and out. You can create, and this is what I did for this kickoff call notes. This is a team task that's hidden from the client, but has a form where you can take your own notes on a call. So the client will never see this either. And so this is, again, just using motion for organization, keeping yourself ideas about the project all repeatable, templated, and organized. All right, Virginia had asked as well, is there any flexibility in the new look and feel for the client portal? I know that you can change the color of the banner. Can we change anything else like the width of the banner? So in what I think you're referencing, Virginia, is that over here in kind of the welcome, or do you mean like kind of this banner up at the top? If you do kind of mean this banner up at the top, like the width there, you can see I'm dragging and dropping. I just have mine very big right now. I do think I'm on a bigger monitor for this screen sharing. I do think on standard computer size or mobile too, it ends up being more or less like this. So I think, again, Virginia's question was kind of about the logo here and this banner. And I think when you're saying width, like how tall it is, no, there is not control over that for you guys right now. I'll definitely share that with my team though, that there are just other things inside of here that you may want to adjust. The top banner. Do you mean this? And if you mean this, yes, you guys do have control over this. If you're more height, not width, sorry. Okay, we were on the same page, Virginia. Yes, I will share with my team that, there are some requests for having some more design options, functionality for you guys for your client portals. I'll share that and bring that back. Right now, like I said, no, the control that you guys have over is that color. And let me show you guys that in the settings there. So you guys can update and change your logo, which all of your clients will see, as well as the primary color. Virginia, feel free, drop in the comments if you would like, just a few of those design choices that you may want to see more of, that you have more control for your client portals. Would love to hear those specifics from you. I see Amber asked, is there any quality insights that clients can rate the progress or quality of the process that would alert me? Ooh, that is a great question, Amber. That will be, unless if anyone else has one final question, feel free to drop that in the comments. Otherwise, we're getting to the end of our live stream time, and Amber's comment is great to end with. Let me go ahead and show that. So is there any quality insights that clients can rate the progress or quality of the process that would alert me? Yes. So I'm going to go into, pardon the clicking, I can't remember which project. Aha, leave a review and refer a friend. So this is actually in one of our templates, Amber. If you want to use this as a basis, let me show you where that is, and then I'll come back and speak a little bit more to your question. Yes, perfect. It's in the website design template that we offer in our public templates. So if you go over to templates and click on public templates, scroll down and click on website design project, save that to your templates, and then you can actually, like I said, use this as the basis. So for some offboarding and some feedback, you can add a stage for that. And then as well, you can ask for information and to leave a review. What I usually use, we just have a website for that example. What I usually use is embedding either a motion form that you build or a Google form. You can embed that and then it will show here, and that can be an offboarding form of 2 or 3 questions. But what's nice is when you embed it in a task here and that becomes activated, that will send out a notification to them right away. If you put on a due date for it, this is in the template. Let me go ahead back into the project. Because in the template, it's just a little bit different. It's not active. We can't set like a due date. Like I'd like to show you guys. So sorry, wrong project. And then if we go, I did it again. Go back into my flowers. Sorry about that, everyone. All right, we found leave a review. So inside of here too, You can ask them, you can send that out, and then you can set a due date. Maybe you want them to give you feedback in the next 2 weeks, and then you can put the reminders on. That will send them an email notification when the task becomes active. It'll send them a 1-week email notification, as well as a 1 day to complete that feedback, day of, day after, and overdue. They won't receive subsequent notifications if they mark the task complete, but this is a nice cadence kind of built in automatically for you for receiving that feedback. Wonderful. Let me take a look. Oh, sorry, Amber, to finish answering this. So, one last thing I want to highlight is in automation. So, maybe you really want to know when they leave that review, um, or they fill out that form, or they mark this task complete. Up inside of automations, this is really nice for anything that I find really important, like when I'm working with our clients. Maybe I'm waiting on something for them, so I want to be notified right away. I just add this as an extra layer. So when leave a review is completed, I send myself or like my info at or somewhere an email notification this way. Of course, based off of your personal user settings, you may get that when they mark it complete as well. So if I go into notifications here, right now our default setting is daily. But what I find most people have is that their client messages are immediately and they want all the other activities to be daily or none. So if you don't want a lot of different notifications and only want it on some very important tasks, you can leave other activities on daily or off and then set that email notification like I just showed you, Amber. That way you'll know right away. Otherwise, if you have these other activities set to immediately in your settings, you'll know right away when they mark it complete anyway. All right. I see that Sam has let you know a few of you guys some feature requests that we're going to share with our team. I do want to read off just a couple of other comments I see, and then we'll wrap up. So I see Virginia, we would like to change the text color in the top banner. Oh, I see that's your feature request. Yeah, we'll share that with the team just for everybody else to know. Her suggestion here is just some specifics about the design. So I won't read those details for everyone, but if you also have some suggestions, feel free, drop them in the chat. And then otherwise, I see quite a few thank yous, thumbs up. Thank you all for awesome questions and engagement today to really help guide our conversation. Again, today it was for kind of how to best utilize motion.io for using and collaborating with your team and communicating with your clients. My name is Kate Younkin. I help out with implementation over here at Motion. If you guys need any help with anything else, feel free, reach out to our team. In the bottom right corner of your Motion account, there's a little chat bubble. If you submit a question that way and mention the live stream today, I'll connect with my team. I'll make sure to help answer those, or if you want to connect. But thank you all so much. Have a great Friday. If you celebrate, have a great holiday weekend. Take care and see you next time.